Well, hello everybody. Look what we got. We got the Heat and Freeze Kings. Yes, we do. It's a scarf. It's a corner to corner, and it works up actually pretty fast. The thing that takes a little bit longest on the whole project is working up the faces, but work out really nice. Really nice. And you know, trying to make these look like claymation was no easy task, but I think I did pretty good. And we're going to dive into this on everything that you need, and we just need to have some fun. Okay? All right. I used a 4mm crochet hook. I also used darning needles. We used stitch markers, scissors, tiniest amount of fiberfill just for this part right here, a little bit. You never want to put in a lot. So let's get over some of the yarn we used. Michael's loops and threads. This was for the fire hair, for the heat side of it. And this one, I know it's called Flame. I'm just trying to find it. Flame. So we use Flame. I used Hobby Lobby Black. I used Hobby Lobby Buttercup. Used Hobby Lobby Fire Red. Hobby Lobby White. Big Twist. Sapphire. And Hobby Lobby Glacier. That was everything that we used for this project that I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So let's dive into it and have some fun, okay? And take your time on this. It works out great. We're gonna dive into this scarf. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. Anyway, I'm gonna calm myself down. We're gonna start with a 5mm start. We're gonna be using a 5mm crochet hook. And if anybody knows me, they know I repeat this all the time. Clover hook, my go-to. It has everything it needs. So I'm gonna start. I am not using my, well, no, actually I stopped at Hobby Lobby yesterday because I wanted specific colors for this. This, like I said, this scarf means so much. This pattern is mine, whip and chains, nobody else's. All right, so I'm working with all Hobby Lobby yarn for this project, but you don't have to use Hobby Lobby. You can use whatever yarn works for you. The first part, we're going to work on the freeze part, which is all cold, snow, ice. The hat is going to be a brilliant blue. The whole and the hair on him, I found a pattern that's going to look like ice, like glacier ice, and I found the closest color that'll work for it. But anyway, we're going to start with white, and this is actually white. This is exactly what I'm using. So we're going to get started. Now, getting started on a corner to corner can be a little confusing sometimes, but I'm here to make it a little easier for you. And so I'm going to try to go a little slow. And hold on a minute. All right, my light went out. I had to fix that. I apologize. And I'm going to try to be extremely aware of making sure I'm staying on camera and trying to make sure you see everything. So we're going to start with a slip knot and leave a little bit of a tail. Slip knot. We are going to chain 5. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like I said, I'm trying to be very aware of staying in the center of camera. Chain 5. Then we're going to go to the third chain from the hook, and we're going to half double into the third chain. We're going to half double into the fourth chain. And then we're going to half double into the fifth chain. Now when you go into the fifth chain, don't go into that one single loop right here. Go underneath and grab 2. That'll help with it pulling. All right. So you did 3 half doubles, and the chain here counts as 1. So our blocks are always going to be 4. That's really, really important for you to know that, okay? So now take your block and you just flip it over to the left. Now I want you to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain from the hook, wrap, go in and do a half double. Fourth chain, do a half double. And the fifth chain right there, do a half double. Now, in that first square that you did, if you gap, see that chain from where you chained 5 and you went down to that third stitch, there's a chain, there's a gap right there. We're going to put your hook in there and you're going to slip stitch. Just like that. Now you're going to chain 2. 1 and 2. And in this gap, put in 2 half doubles. 1 and 2. Now your last half double, instead of putting in the gap, we're going to go into that stitch right here, that gap right there in that chain, because you want to anchor this down, these edges. This will help keep your edging straight. So you're going to just do that on the edging, okay? All right. So now turn your work, chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain from the hook, put in a half double. Fourth chain from the hook, a half double. And fifth chain from the hook, half double. Then in the gap, you slip stitch, just like that. Chain 2, 1 and 2, and in that full gap, because we're not on the edge, you put in 3 half doubles. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now this white is representing the snow, okay? That's why I chose white. So we're gonna go into our end one here in the gap. Just wanna do a slip stitch. Chain 2, 2, and in that gap, put in 2 half doubles. And then the last one, you wanna put in that chain, because you want to anchor it right in. You want it to stay straight, just like that. If you don't want that big of a gap, you can also go right into the chain there itself, like that. But I think it still leaves a gap, so it's totally your choice how you want to do it. I like doing that. Either way will be absolutely fine. All right, turn your work again. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain from the hook, put in a half double. So right now we're growing our corner to corner. 4th chain from the hook, half double. 5th chain from the hook, half double. We're going to look for that gap in the next square, and we're going to slip stitch. And then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and put in 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. The next block here, you find that chain space, you slip stitch. Chain 2, and put in 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Up here, slip stitch, chain 2, and put in 2, because we're on the last one, half doubles, 1 and 2. And then the last one goes right into that chain. So now you're up to 1, 2, 3, 4 squares you did. Let's do one more row together because I want to make sure you're good on doing this. And you keep going until we have 9. So let's do it again. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 3rd chain from the hook, half double. 4th chain from the hook, half double. 5th chain from the hook, half double. We slip stitch into our chain, chain 2, 1 and 2. Put in 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Next square, slip stitch, chain 2, 1 and 2. Put in 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Next block, slip stitch, chain 2, 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Next block, in the chain space, slip stitch, chain 2, 1 and 2. Put in 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and then your last one you're going to anchor in on the side. So now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to do first. I want you to understand what is your front part of your project versus your back part of your project. And what I do is I take a stitch marker. When you lay your project down, your tail needs to be on the left. This is the front part of your project. What I like to do is I like to mark. So I know this is my front part of my project. All right, so as I showed you these rows, you're gonna keep growing this until it's 9 squares. Right now, we have 5, so you need to do 4 more rows to get to 9. And then I'm gonna come back because I need to show you how we grow one side and keep one side the same. And by doing that, you stay at 9 squares because you don't want it to be a blanket. This is going to be a scarf. All right, so let me get up to 9. Keep doing, do your chain 5, keep doing everything I showed you. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to continue going. Okay, so now we have our 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then if you count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this project is going to be, I'm so sorry. This project is going to be 9 blocks wide. And then you ended, which this is determined the increase side. The taller side of a corner to corner is your increase side. The tail always on the left makes it your front, and your block on the right is considered your decrease side. If you understand these parts of corner to corner, this is going to help you go a really long way in doing a lot of corner to corner projects. Corner to corner is not an old technique. It's been around for a while, but there's just so many different things you can do with corner to corner on how shaping your blankets and projects that you want to do. It's amazing. So don't let yourself get stuck into one mode of corner to corner. There's lots of ways to do corner to corner. So anyway, so now we want this project to stay this width. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now remember, I told you the left side, make sure you're at the front. The left side, the taller side, is your increase side. This side is considered your decrease side. All right. So now, after you did your 9, you should be on the increase side. Okay, sorry, I had to stop for a minute. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to do increase, which is what we've been doing, but I'm going to show you how to keep this side the same, or decrease, however you want to say it. All right, so we're going to start by turning, and like I said, we're on the increase side. So we're going to do everything normal. We're going to do our chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain, half double, fourth chain, half double, fifth chain, half double, and then you just slip stitch, and you do everything you've been doing. Chain 2, 3 half doubles, slip stitch, chain 2, 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and 3. So finish doing these blocks and I'll meet you down here. Okay, so now here we are. So I did my block, and I am going to slip stitch right in there. Now we're on the decrease side. If you look at your project properly, this was our increase side. We did our increase. Then down here we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we slip stitch. I want to make sure you guys understand this. We did our block. You want to attach to your last chain area. So that's a slip stitch. Turn your project around, and you're going to slip stitch up this block in the front of your chain. So we're going to slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, and slip stitch 3. Make sure don't do what I did and make it too tight. There we go. Don't make it too tight. So we're going to slip stitch up. 3 slip stitches up. Now, after you slip stitched up, you want to build a block. So chain 2, and right in that in that gap right here, put in your 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. And then you just proceed as normal. You slip stitch to your next chain area, you chain 2, and put your 3 half doubles in. 1, 2, and 3. And you work that all the way up to your increase side. So I'm going to meet you at the increase side. Okay, so we're coming up on the increase side because this is the right side, this is front side facing us, this is the left side. So you're going to just slip stitch, do your chain 2, do your 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and the last one do it in a chain to lock it in like we've been discussing. All right, turn your work and do your chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain down, 1, 2, 3, and do your half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. And then you slip stitch, chain 2, and do your 3 half doubles. And do your normal all the way down. I'm going to meet you at the decrease side to make sure you got this. We'll do it together one more full round, like this round, so you can see what's going on. All right. Okay, I'm coming down on the decrease side, guys. So I did my last square, then a slip stitch into that gap. Try not to make it too tight. That's outside traffic, I apologize. And then we're going to slip stitch loosely. 1, 2, and 3. And after you do that, then you're going to do your chain 2, and you're going to do your 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. And then you slip stitch to your next chain, and then continue doing what you're doing. That is all you have to do. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now three, 4, 5, and we'll just continue. 3, 4, 5, yep. So now we're going to start counting on the right side, obviously not on the increase side. So I want you to keep doing this pattern until you count 9 blocks on the right side. Make sure you're on the front and you'll be counting on your right side. So we have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows. You want a total of 9 rows. Continuing, this side will be your decrease side. This side will be your increase. By having a decrease and an increase, your count will always stay the same. Like if you're increasing on both sides, your count will keep going up 1. If you're decreasing on both sides, your project's going to get smaller and you're going to close it out. You don't want to do that. So decrease on the right, increase on the left, and then I'll meet you back when you have your count of 9. Okay. So now you got 9 rows. Just take your time counting them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take your time because this is honestly not a project you want to rush on. All right. So hold on. I need Maggie and I finally came up with a name for this. It's the Snow and Heat King scarf. So we're working on the snow, or you can do snow / ice. I like Ice King. Ice and Heat King. Yes. All right. So the Heat King, his body is snow. That's why the white. We did our 9 rows. So the first thing you want to do is cut a tail right here. And his head is actually like, it's actual ice. It's like, if you look at a glacier, you know how it's jagged and it's all over the place. Well, I had to figure out a color that would correspond with glacier but not be white because snow is white. And then I was thinking, well, you know, we could do blue, but his hat is blue, so the extending part of this is going to be blue. So I went to my favorite place, Hobby Lobby, and I found this. And the actual name of it is Glacier. Can't be more perfect than that. So his hair is going to be Glacier. And it's actually, like I said, it's not hair. It's actually like ice. So we're going to dive into it. But again, this is Hobby Lobby yarn. I love this yarn. And the color is Glacier. Let's get moving. All right. So now you know the color I'm using. And same hook, same everything. The hook is going to stay the same for the entire project. And I am front facing right now because stitch markers here, tails here. So this stitch is not a stitch that I designed. I want to make that very clear. It's a stitch that I made a little, actually the stitch was designed as a double crochet. I turned it into a half double. Same everything, just half double. So not my stitch. It's a really cool stitch. And after watching it be done, I just think because it goes in different directions, it's like a paintbrush that works for the ice, the glaciers. Duh. All right. So the way we add on to this without it being noticeable, I want you to take out your very last stitch. Put your hook in. Wrap your hook. You go in there to anchor it like we do. You grab yarn, wrap it around. But instead of wrapping it with the white, now we're going to wrap it with our next color. And we're going to go through. Now holding that, I want you to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. After you chain your 5, you do your normal everything. You go down to the 3rd stitch, put a half double in, 4th stitch, put a half double in, 5th stitch, put a half double in. Right. So then I want you to slip stitch to the next stitch and do your chain 2 and just hold it there. This white that we cut off, it's really important that you weave it in now, because you honestly, I'm making a mess. Because you honestly don't want this unraveling, and it can, and it will. It's just when it would happen. So you honestly just want to handle it right away. And do it as neatly as you can, even though this is the back of the project. You still want it done nicely and neatly. All right. Let me clean up my mess. Okay, I cleaned up my mess. All right. So now we're going to be working on this new stitch, and I really want you to take your time and understand this is really, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. So you got your gap. You got your gap up here. This is stitch 1 where you did your chain. Okay. So the next one is stitch 2. The next one is stitch 3. In that third stitch, not your first one here. Actually, if you want to go from the bottom, it's your second stitch. You go in there and you do a half double. Let me take that out. I'm going to show you again. You did your normal chain 2 right here. And normally you would put in your 3 half doubles right here. But you're going to look at the next square right here, and you're going to go up 2. Or you can go down 2. Or actually, you can go down 3 or come up 2. Your call. You can go up 2, do a half double. And when you do that half double, you got a block. And see this gap right here? You're going to be working back in the gap like you would have been doing your half doubles. And see this top bar? We're going to be going completely around it. So wrap your hook. You go into that gap. Grab your yarn, bring it up. And you do your 3 half doubles. You do that twice. And the reason you do it twice is you think about it. We do the chain 2 and then we do 3 half doubles. Well, we did the chain 2, we did a half double up here. So that's already 2 stitches. So we only have 2 left to make 4. So there's your 2. Okay. So now you go into your next chain right here and you slip stitch. Chain 2, 1 and 2. You count up 2. From the bottom, 1, 2. And make sure you can count your 5, because it's, right? No, it's 4. I don't know where I'm getting 5 at. All right, you go up 2. Yeah, it's 4. Go up 2. You put your half double. I'm sorry. Sometimes I have old person brain. You do your half double. Wrap. You go under this bar right here and above that bar that you just made. And you do 2. 2 half doubles. 1 and 2. Okay? So you go into that gap right there. You do your slip stitch. Chain 2, 1 and 2. And then you go up 2. You put your half double. You wrap and you go under this bar and above the other one that you just made. You put in 2 half doubles, 1 and 2. Okay. Then you slip stitch through that normal chain and we do it again. Chain 2. You go up 2, up 2. You do your half, make sure you're fully in the stitch, do your half double. Then you do 2 half doubles, squishing these 2 bars. 1 and 2. Okay. Slip stitch, chain 2. You go up 2, put in your half double, and we're going to squish those 2 bars. 1 and 2. Now you do this all except the first and the last stitches. The first and the last stitches are going to be our normal block because you want the edges to stay pristine and clean and straight. Okay? So let's do our slip stitch, chain 2, you go up 2, do your half double, and you do 2 half doubles encasing those 2 bars. Slip stitch. I'm doing this whole row with you because I want to make sure you're successful. Okay. You go into the second one. Second one from the bottom. And you encase both those 2 bars. Now, this is your last block on this one. Because if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that'll be 9. So this one you just chain 2. And right in there you do your 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. And then you slip stitch. Okay. Let's start again. So we turn, we slip stitch up the side, 1, because I'm just doing a single crochet, 2, and 3, chain 2, 1 and 2, and put your 3 half doubles right in there, 1, 2, and 3. That's a normal C2C block for half doubles. Now, it looks different. It looks different, but it's still, I promise you, it's still the same. So you find the chain gap right there. See it? You slip stitch. All right, and then you find the second stitch up right there. See it? There's 1, 2. You go right in there and you do your half double, and then you got your 2 bars and you do 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and then you find your next chain to slip stitch. Just like that. You chain 2. You go into the second stitch up. Right there she is. You do your half double. And then you got your 2 bars. And you do 2 half doubles. 1 and 2. You find your gap right there. Slip stitch. Chain 2. You count 1, 2 up, do your half double, then we do 2, 1 and 2, slip stitch, chain 2, count up 2, and then you engulf those 2 bars, 2 half doubles, 1 and 2. Slip stitch, chain 2, find your second stitch, do a half double, and then you want to do 2 half doubles engulfing those 2 bars, 1 and 2. Okay, let's do the next one. Slip stitch into that chain, chain 2, Find your second stitch, do a half double, and 2 half doubles engulfing those 2 bars. Slip stitch, chain 2, half double in that second stitch, I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, okay, yeah. Do your 2. Okay. Slip stitch. Now a regular one. Chain 3. And do your 2 half doubles in the gap. 1 and 2. And do your last third one in that bar. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we're on the right side. And as you can see, this is looking, see how it's going different directions? Looking like a glacier. Isn't that awesome? I absolutely love it. So now that I did a couple rows, I am going to weave in this end. Find a good place to weave it in. There we go. And remember, don't pull things really tight. You don't want to do that. So I did 2 whole rows with you. I want you to do 2 more. You'll just do your normal C2C square here, and then you go back to the paintbrush, and then the last one is a normal one. So a total of 4 rows, and I'll meet you back. So I did my 4 rows. I actually had to frog out a row because I think I missed a stitch somewhere, but please take your time and count to make sure you have 9. It's really, really important. So I initially picked navy blue for his hat, for the Ice King, but I don't like it. I just don't think it's going to work with the design that is going through my brain. So I found this because I'm not driving back to Hobby Lobby today. I found this color. This was in my stash. It is called Sapphire. It's beautiful. This I know I got from Joann's, and Joann's is no longer here. So, but I do know that Michael's has taken over a lot, but you can get a similar color. It's called Sapphire, so don't stress. It's okay. It's really okay. So we're going to go back to our regular C2C. So I'm going to help you get through a row to get back to normal. So same old, we pull out our last stitch. And then put on your new color and go through. And then you're going to chain 5, 2, 3, and 5. So pretty, isn't it? And then we're going to go in the third chain, put a half a double, fourth chain, half a double, fifth chain, half a double. Then we're going to slip stitch to our next stitch, chain 2, and put in 3 half doubles right in there. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to pause you, take a minute to weave in my ends. Okay. So I don't know why every time I want to do a video, my throat gives me trouble. I'm not sure. Okay. So then you just slip stitch to your next gap, chain your 2, and put in your 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch to your next gap, chain 2, and do 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch, chain 2, and 3 half doubles. And you do this all the way down. Your normal half double crochet, corner to corner. So it's real easy to go back to your normal stitching. And for the glacier hair, if you have decided you want a couple more rows of it, there's absolutely no reason why you can't. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you slip stitch, you turn. Notice I count to make sure I'm not throwing myself off. And then you slip stitch. And you just do your normal quarter corner that I showed you on the white. Okay? And this is what it's looking like so far. And I count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is embedded in my brain for this entire project. Looking good, isn't it? I am like super stoked over this. Okay. And there's the back. Here's the front. And we might do an edging on this. Not sure because of the color change, but my brain's in full force today, so I'm gonna roll with it. Roll with it. All right, so for my pattern, I'm doing 14 total rows of this. Okay, so if you want to do more, you're welcome. If you want to do less, you're welcome. It's up to you. But for this pattern, I am doing 14. And I want to, there we go. When something doesn't look right, it could just be how you held it. That's all. All right, so I'm going to do a total of 14 rows with this, and we'll be back for the next segment. All right. Well, I ended up doing, you're not laughing at me, I ended up doing 28 rows for his hat part because I just didn't like the length. And this is what's really cool about this project. You can do any length that you want. Make it longer, make it shorter, make it fit for a child, a teen, an adult, a very tall person, a little person, like little like me, 5'3", you know, whatever you want to do. So I didn't like the length for me, so I just kept on going until I felt comfortable in the length. So now the ice and the Heat King are going to collide because we're done on the ice side of it. We're going to move over to the heat side of it, but the storms got to collide. And I was thinking, I was talking to Maggie, like, should we do gray, or should I do like when I searched ice storms and heat, like teal came up, and then should I do like a sparkly white, or should I, like, all this was going through my brain and processing it. And then Maggie made the suggestion, do they make a red and blue yarn? I looked. The only red and blue that I could really find was red, white, and blue. I didn't want that. Then I thought, well, I could double up the blue and the red, well, this color and the red, but then that makes it so thick that it distorts the shape of the scarf. We don't want to distort the shape of the scarf. You're working too hard on the scarf. And I'm thinking, what can we do? We're going into the heat side of the king, so we're doubling up on the yarn, but we're going to lose one of the 3 stitches in our squares to be able to do it. That way it doesn't bulk out. And it's going to be beautiful. This way you'll have, I want to do 4 rows. You can do 4 rows, you can do 6 rows. Again, you can do how many you want. I'm personally thinking I'm going to do 4. I'm going to see what 4 look like. Maybe I'll do 6. Not too sure, but I'm trying to stay on the even number because I like changing my yarn on the increase side. That's why I'm sticking to where I'm sticking to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But that's how I like to work it. So, the red, it's called Fire Red. Can't get more red than that. And then we'll go down, we'll do this. I'm going to do his hair, and probably in 4 rows, not 4 rows, I'm going to probably do 6 rows. So I did 28 rows of this, but I'm probably only going to do 26 rows after I do the collide. That way I can try to make it even, but who knows? You know, creativity is what it's all about. All right, so again, I'm on the increase side. Doing this with you guys, excuse me, I got a cough, I'm sorry. Doing this with you and increasing, yeah, doing this with you and figuring stuff out together. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a heck of a lot of fun for me. It really is. So obviously this, whatever did I say the name of this color was? Sapphire. Sapphire is obviously already attached because that's what I've been doing. So now all I need to do is drape my red over here, and we're gonna just pretend it's already been on there for a while. So we're gonna do, there we go. We're going to do our chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to go down to the 3rd stitch. We're going to put our half double in. We're going to go down to the 4th stitch. We're going to put our half double in. And we're going to stop right there. Then we're going to go to our next stitch. Make sure you're not picking up your tail by accident. And we're going to just join, slip stitch, chain 2, do 2 half doubles, 1 and 2. Slip stitch, chain 2. Hold on a minute, hold on. All right. Your chain 2. My dog's toys. Anyway, just 2 half doubles because we're doubling up on yarn for the collision. So you honestly, if you did 3, it's really not gonna, it's gonna bulk out and it's gonna distort your scarf. And you don't wanna do that. So now, here we are. We're gonna just do this. I'm gonna do 1 row with you just to be good. Oh, see, I was going to do 3. Two. And then return. Now we normally slip stitch up 3, don't we? So we're going to slip stitch 1. We're going to slip stitch 2, and then we're going to actually do our 3rd slip stitch right in that chain 3. So chain 2 and do 2 half doubles, 1 and 2, and just continue this like normal. Take your time, make sure you're carrying both pieces. So I am going to definitely do 4 rows, but I'm going to actually consider 6 to see what it looks like. And then after I do these rows, then I am going to cut off the blue, my blue, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you, just get you going good on just going back to normal. Okay, so let me do my rows and I will be back. Okay, so I opted for the 6 rows. It's hard to tell, but it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. And it worked out perfectly doing 2 in each space. If you would have done 3, it would be bulging out. And my blue is stuck. Okay, so doing good, guys. I'm going to now cut my blue and drop it. Now, let's talk. I did 28 rows of this with the Ice King. Between that, his hair, between his face, his hair, and his hat. Now the storms collided. So now what we're gonna do is I'm continuing my fire red, but look what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull my last stitches out of the anchor and I'm going to drop the blue. I'm going to just pick up the red, and when I go in this side, come up, oh wait, try that again. Go in this side, grab both, and now drop the blue and just pick up the red and go through. And what is that when you do magic? Ta-da! All right, now we're going to just do the red. So you do your chain 5, 2, 3, 4. And it feels funny after you just did that bulky. Go down to third. You don't put in your half double in the next stitch, and half double in the third. Then you slip stitch, chain 2, and then you put in your 3 half doubles. And you're just going back to normal on everything that you did. So now here is what's going on next. You're gonna keep doing your red. Now, like I said, I did 28 rows of the blue. But for the He King, I want to do 6 rows for his hair because his hair is really high, not like the Ice King. The Ice King's hair is low and set. The He King, it's higher. So I definitely want to do 6 rows. So I'm going to do 26 rows of the red. Then I'm going to switch over to this cool color that's coming, guys. I ordered it. It's going to be here in an hour or two. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm telling you, yarn makes me happy. Anyway, so I'm going to do 26 rows of my red. And then we are going to go down into his hair. And it is also a different stitch. It's not the same stitch. And it's not this stitch. Another stitch. You'll get to learn. All right, I'll see you after I do 26 rows. All right, here it is. Yeah, I I ended up doing 26 rows, but I like it. So here's the red. Here's where the storms collided. And here's the ice and snow. Perfect. So all my excitement, you know, yarn just makes me so happy, and it's the one thing that never disappoints, and this one didn't. So here is the Fire King's hair. It's like a yellow orange, and I found this at Michael's. Finding specific yarn sometimes when you're doing a project is not the easiest thing to do, but it is a 4-ply. And here's the name. Isn't that perfect? Flame. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And it has, I don't know if you can tell with me having you so close, but it has a little fuzzy texture, which is absolutely what I want. So if it fuzzes up as you wear it, that is the perfect scenario for this. So, yeah, it's a triple win for me. Worked for my project, perfect colors, and it's fuzzy. Win, win, win. So I'm trying to find the center without having to pull the tongue out. And, yeah, well, you know. So let me straighten this out. Okay. Full disclosure, I only had to cut off a tiny little piece to get started. All right, so I got the yarn that I want, and I got the project that I'm currently working on. So you guys know the drill. Pull out your last stitch, wrap, bring yarn, bring it up, and then wrap your new color on. And then you chain 5. And before I do anything, I'm going to try to get rid of some of these ends. Okay, I weaved in my red. Now, make sure you find the front. This is important for this stitch. I'm on the back. I'm so excited over this yarn, guys. You have just no clue. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in the third stitch, you do a half double. Take your time with this yarn. It's a little thinner than what we're used to, but it's okay. All right, do a half double. Now in the fourth chain, do 5 half doubles. 5 of them in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Count back 5, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook, go from the front to the back. It's easier to do it this way. You can do it the other way too, but wrap your loop on your hook and you go through. And then you put in a half double in that last stitch. We'll weave that in then, okay? And then you go to your chain and you slip stitch. Okay? Chain 2, put in 5 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make sure it's popping the way it needs to be popping. I don't like that one. We're going to go back. Let's redo that one. I don't like it. If you don't like something, go back and redo it. So let's chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain, put in a half double. Fourth chain. I think we're going to do 6 half doubles in it because it feels thinner. Let's try that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's better already. I can see it. All right, and then in the last chain, you put in a half double. Yep, that's what it needed. There we go. So then you slip stitch. Chain 2, 1 and 2. 6 half doubles. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure when you're closing this, the way the popcorn lands is on the front. See how I'm pushing it forward? There we go. And in that same gap, you put one more half double to lock it in there. Let's do another one. Slip stitch. Chain 2. Put in 6 half doubles. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And make sure it's popped the way you want it to pop. Slip stitch through and do another half double. Lock it in. Let's do again. Slip stitch, chain 2, 6 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull it together and make sure it's popped the front way. And then do a half double. We did 4 together. Let's do one more because I want you to be successful. Slip stitch, chain 2, 6 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab it. Make sure it's going the direction you want, and slip stitch. And half double. You know what? I'm going to complete this row with you because I want to make sure you're okay on the end. So now I'm going to be quiet. I'm just going to do it. Okay. This is where you understanding your count is really important. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like you would need another one, but you got your 9. So after you do your 9, you slip stitch to that chain right there. And we're going to turn. And look at that beautiful hair. It's perfect for him. I'm like so stoked. All right. Here, for these, you need to chain 1. All right. Now we're going to slip stitch up our chain. So slip stitch. Slip stitch. We're looking for our, there's our chain. Slip stitch into our chain. There we go. And then you're gonna do your chain 2, 1, 2, and then continue to do your popcorns. You're always doing your popcorns in the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Count back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're on the front of the project. So when you put your loop on and tighten it, make sure you're pushing it forward. Actually, let me go into it a different way to make it easier. Front to back. Put your loop on, push it forward before you pinch. Okay? And then you do your last half double. So then you go to your next one, you find that chain right there. You slip stitch, chain 2, and you do your popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And before you slip stitch, make sure you're popping it towards you and there. And then you do another half double. I'm going to let you go. Count, do 9 of these. Absolutely 9, and I'll meet you up here. Okay. So as you count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If your count is where my count is, you need 1 more. So on your last one, find a chain. Take your time. The chain is there, I promise. And then you slip stitch into the chain. You do your 2, chain 2. Do your 6 half doubles. 1, 2, make sure. 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you're popping it towards you because we're working on the front. And then you do 1 more half double in there. And you finished row 2. Looks so cool, don't it, guys? So now we're going to go to the back. We're going to do the same thing that we did on the first row. And I got to weave that tail in now that I did a couple rows, but let me show you. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Third chain, half double. Fourth chain, 6 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're popping it away from us this time. And then one last half double in that last chain. Okay. And then you find there we go. Find your chain on your next popcorn. You slip stitch, and then you do the same thing. Chain 2. Oh, it doesn't feel like it's the chain. There it is. You got to play with them, guys, and know where you're going. Take your time. Find a chain. Chain 2. And then put in 6 half doubles. 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. All right, I'll just keep doing this all the way down. How cool does that look? Find my chain. There's the chain. And to make sure you're working behind your popcorns, that they don't get tangled up. All right, I'll see you at the end. Okay, look how beautiful that is. I wasn't sure, I didn't say it at the beginning, but I chose to do 6 rows. That's what I wanted to do. Heat king, here we go. Anyway, so here it is. And now all we have to do is add his face. I chose the color Buttercup. His face is supposed to be like a yellow, so this is the palest yellow I can do. So I'm going to help get you started. So obviously I'm going to cut. So this color, I love this color, and I do really like this yarn, but this yarn is not for the faint of heart. It takes a little time and patience. I've had to do a little extra with the yarn, but you know what? I would recommend it. It turned out beautiful. So some things are worth the time and patience. There we go. All right. So we want this side to end the same way this side looks, squared off, okay? So we need to count. We need 9 rows. And when you count your 9 rows, do not count your 9 rows on your increasing side. It's not going to work. You need to count your 9 rows on your decreasing side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you get through this, and that'll be easy. We got this. So we're going to be taking out our last half double. I know, it's kind of scary. Taking out our last half double, because when you pull through your last stitch, you want to pull through your new color. So we do your chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Half double on the 3rd stitch, half double on the 4th stitch, and half double on the 5th. You just slip over to your chain, find your chain, there you go. And then do your normal squares now. Chain 2, and 3 half doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Slip over to your chain. Chain 2, and do your 5, or 5, do your 3. 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to keep doing this as you normally have been doing, like on the red and the blue. You're going to keep doing that into your decrease side. Until let's say until you get to 8. Count 8 squares on your decrease side, and then we'll start working together again. All right, I'll see you back. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm on the increase side, so we need 9, so I'm gonna do my 9. So chain your 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 3rd chain from the hook, double crochet, 4th chain, double crochet, 5th chain, double crochet. So you're gonna just do this row as normal. I'll meet you at the end of this. Okay, so at the end, we're normal round, slip stitch, we're going to turn. Everything's been normal so far. Okay, so you chain your 2. So we're going to do 1 block. Oh, I did 2. 1 block, slip stitch to the next block, do your 3 half doubles, slip stitch to the next, 3 half doubles, slip stitch, 3 half doubles, keep going, you're doing good. All right, your last 2 blocks here. So you slip stitch, chain 2, do your 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and 3. Now you want to anchor in on this one. So you do your slip stitch, then you turn. And then you chain up the side. 1, oh, 2, and 3. And then you chain 2. And then you do your regular. 1, 2, and 3. So you're ending this, you're not growing it anymore. See how it's gonna come over? So you go down, you do this the same way, and then I'll meet you down here. Okay, I'm working back up to this corner. So all we're doing is squaring it out. That's it. Closing your corner to corner. Chain 2, put in your 3, 1, 2, and 3. You slip stitch to the left, then you turn, then you just chain up, or slip stitch up, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. So it's the same thing on the growing side now that you did on the other side. So what we were doing on the decrease side is what you're doing actually on both sides now, if you really want to think about it. It gives you a sense of accomplishment when you're closing off your corner to corner. It's really cool. You know that feeling when you're finishing a project. You just slip stitch. One, two. And three. And three. Don't let it fool you when it gets smaller. Everything just keeps going the way you've been doing it. And this is your last square. 1, 2, and 3. And then you anchor in. And then I do advise you just slip stitch down. And do 1 chain. And cut a tail. So let's look at this sweet project. We still have to do the face, guys. Let's start with the Heat King. So here's his face. Here's his fire hair. And here's his fire. This is where the fire and ice collide. And then, there we go. This is technically water. This is the ice hat. His hair is like, can't even think. I had to stop and think. Glaciers. And then his face is snow. So all that is left to work on this project is the faces on both sides. Believe it or not, it is the same size on both. All right, so we're gonna dive into the faces. Right, we're gonna work on the Heat King, his eyes and nose and mouth today. Well, this segment, I should say today. I'm doing this whole pattern in pieces, so I just don't get overwhelmed. That's all. So here's the one eye I did. So we're going to do another one just like it. So I'm going to take my white yarn. I'm going to do a magic ring. Oh, and I'm using, important to know, a 4mm crochet hook. If you want to do a chain 3, you are more than welcome. And then slip stitch to the first stitch, and then chain 1, and you're at the same place we are. So in your circle, I'm going to use a stitch marker too. In your circle, you want to put in 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're not working in the rounds on the eye for the main reason is when you tie off, you're going to have that little gap, and you don't want that gap. You want it to look really good. So 3, 4, 5, 6, and then slip stitch to your first stitch. Okay, chain 1, and the next round is easy. I just want you to put 2 single crochets in every single stitch to take you to 12 stitches, and then slip stitch to your first stitch. Okay, as soon as you have your 12, take your stitch marker out, slip stitch to your first stitch. Try to get your center as tight as you can. Now you're done chain 1. We're just going to do another round of increases. So your first stitch, put in 1 single crochet, and the next stitch, put in 2. And I want you to just repeat that 1 and 2, 1 and 2 all the way around until you get to 18 single crochets. Okay. You should have 18 stitches. You're done slip stitch to your first stitch. And chain 1 and put in 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet. And then the next stitch is 2 single crochets. And you're going to repeat that until you get to 12. So let's do it again. 1, 1, and an increase. So here we go. 1, 1. Here we go. Another full one. And then we're going to go, we're in the middle of an increase. You go in there, you grab your yarn and give yourself a decent tail. Okay. And then we're going to grab our red. We're going to bring that right up through. Okay. And you're just going to continue the increase round with red. So we'll do 1, 1, increase. 1, increase, okay, single, single, and this is increase. I do a 2 together join, even though that's not a real stitch, just to make it look uniform. I've shown that a few times. And there we go. So now I cut my red tail, and then I sew it onto a darning needle. Well, there we go. Take my stitch marker out. I go through the stitch that I would have joined. And then your last single crochet, you go down the center. And this will give you your flawless end. And then I just weave in this red. So obviously you need to make 2 of these. I weaved in my tail as we were crocheting, but I'm just going to pull that through one more time just to be on the safe side. So now we need to make a little black part. Obviously it's black yarn. This one's really simple. If you want to do your chain 3 again, like I explained on the one, you can. But this is just literally 1 row. In your magic ring, you put in 6 single crochets. And 6. Cut a tail long. Pull it out. Get some light here. And we're going to join it to the first stitch. 3, 4, 5. Here we go. I don't want to cooperate that way, that's okay. And pull your center as tight as you possibly can. All right. Now we're going to take this center and the eyes are angry, so they go in towards each other. So you want it just off of the red. So on those, just pick a point and pull through. And then all you do is go up and down, and you go through those edging stitches, your edging, your single crochet. Oh, I went in and out the same exact spot. And then I'll just weave this tail down through the back too. Obviously underneath so you can't see it. And then I'll knot these back because no one's going to see it anyway. And I'll just knot the center one, too. Like I said, nobody's going to see this. And then I get rid of all these. There's no point in them. All right. So obviously you got to make 2 of these eyes, and as you can see, I forgot to leave a tail on that one, but that's really no big deal. So now, still using my 4mm crochet hook, it's time for the nose. Magic ring. And the nose we can obviously work in the rounds. Put in the 6 single crochets. And 6. And we're going to double up, so we're going to put in 2 single crochets in every stitch in the next round, and I'll meet you around. Okay. Sorry if you saw my plate trying to eat some yogurt. I do sincerely apologize if you saw that. All right, so next round is another increase. So it'll be 1 single crochet. And then the next one is an increase. So it's 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet. And I'll take it all the way around to 18 stitches. Okay, we're going to do 1 more increase row. So it's going to be 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and then an increase. So you'll do that all the way around, and then you'll have 24 stitches. And then after you do that, the next 3 rows are just matching stitch for stitch, so 24, 24, and a 24. All right. So now we're going to decrease and get his nose to go to a nose. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. An invisible decrease is just using the front loops. And then 2 single crochets. And an invisible decrease. And do that all the way around. That should take you back down to 18 stitches. There we go. So the next round will be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. Okay, and then 1 single crochet and a decrease. And that'll take it back down to 12. Okay, you should have 12 stitches left. I'm going to, I can get rid of my stitch marker. I'm going to tuck in the tail because there's no more you need to do with that. I weaved the knot into the stitch marker, didn't get, I mean the tail didn't come loose. So now all you want to do is just put a little bit of stuffing in here because this is for a scarf. You don't want it like popping out. You just need it to fill and stay round. The Heat King needs his red nose because it's so hot outside where he lives. That should be more than plenty. So now all you have to do is do 6. I went to normal decreasing because I was having trouble with the invisible, so it don't matter. So you need to do 6 decreases. So it's 1. It's 2. It's 3. 4, 5, and 6. So give yourself a nice tail. Pull your yarn through. And then all you have to do is weave in and out of your stitches. That's the dog sleeping. And then try to lose this tail a little bit. And then just save your tail for sewing it on to the project. And then time to make the mouth. This mouth is really cool because when you sew it on, you can sew it on any direction that you want. Mouth is easy. Start a chain of 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15. Second chain from the hook. We're going to do a half double. Next chain, another half double. Then we're going to do 6 trebles. Wrap twice. Let's do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I screwed up. After you do your 2 half doubles, I'm really sorry. After you do your 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, and then 6 trebles. Forgive me. 6 trebles now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 doubles. 1 and 2, and then 2 half doubles. Chain 1 and turn. The first 2, I want you to do a decrease. The next 2, do a decrease. Let's do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, 4 single crochet, 5 single crochet, 6 single crochet, and then a decrease, and one more decrease. And then you can chain 1 and cut. And leave yourself another tail. I know it don't look like much, but trust me, it turned out really nice for the mouth. All right. Now let's do the pieces for the freeze miser. All right. Now it's time to work on the Ice King. Designing him was really, really hard. Figuring everything out. So let's go through some of the stuff that's not so hard. His eyes, they're the exact same as the heat side of it. So all they are is a magic ring with 6 single crochets in it. And you want to leave a tail because you want to do a nice close. So it's just a magic ring, 6 single crochets. I didn't decide this until recently, or I would have absolutely said something when we were making the video for the heat side of it. Sometimes it takes me a little while to figure out patterns and what makes me happy and what I think is the best case scenario. So, and do your normal there we go. All right, so you need to do 2 of these. Let me do that and I'll be back. Okay. So now after you did those 2 pupils, oh, I think you need to know, I'm sorry, I am using a 4mm hook for this part of it. So now we have to make his eyes. Okay. So the eyes, obviously you need to make 2 again. I need you to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Second chain from the hook, put in 3 half doubles. 3, 1, 2, and 3. And I do suggest you mark in your first stitch. Now, next stitch, put in a half double. Next stitch, half double. And next stitch, half double. Your last stitch, put in 3 half doubles. Make sure you go through both loops. It will help with the opening. So 1, 2, and 3. Now working around, we're going to put in our next spot here, 1 half double. Next gap, another half double. And the next gap, another half double. And the whole reason you put in that stitch marker is so you could slip stitch into your first stitch. Chain 2, 1 and 2. Put in 2 half doubles in that first stitch. 1 and 2. Put in 2 half doubles in the next stitch. And 2 half doubles in the next. And now put it a half double in the next 3 stitches. 1 each. 1, 2, and 3. Now you put in 2 half doubles in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Now 1 half double in the last 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Pull a tail. Cut your yarn. Do a nice clean end, like I've been showing you multiple times. And then secure your yarn. Believe it or not, they're both the same. Might not look it, but they are. Now, his eyes. Right there. So I'm going to sew them in just like that. So let's do one together. Okay. So we're going to do that on both. Okay. Okay. So for the ice or freeze king, the nose, very straightforward. Started out with a magic ring of 4 single crochets, 3 rows of 4 single crochets. Then I did an increase of 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase. Then I did 3 rows of that. Takes you up to 6 stitches. And then I doubled it. I went up to 12 stitches, and I did as many rows as you need for the length that you want for your freeze guy. All right, so that's easy. I know you guys got that. If you do need a tutorial on it, I'll be happy to do it, but with this whole project, you guys have seen how I've done everything, okay? So now, I need red yarn, hold on. This is definitely the part that you really, well, the whole project, but you really want to take your time on. You don't want to rush this, right, at all. So, the heat side. Trying to figure out how to hold this without it pulling. There we go. All right. I love that his hair goes kind of wonky, to be honest with you. All right, so let me get out his pieces. His nose. And his eyes. And his mouth. You definitely want to figure out how you want him before you go putting anything to stitch. The eyebrows is what's going to make him look angry. And then you can do the mouth any way you want to add teeth. So I'm happy with his nose. Should be as close to the eyes as you can get it. All right. So now with the eyes, sewing on the eyes, I'm going to sew in the white going around, but then with the red, you want to switch to the red. You just want to. I know it's a pain in the backside, but honestly, you want to switch to the red. You don't want to play games when you did this much. So all you're doing, I'm going to come up through a white part. So we have a starting point. And I'm going to go down to my next stitch. I'm going to go through. And I am working in a single crochet that's around. So I'm going to put in, I guess my glasses would really help. I'm going to put in just a couple stitches here. Make sure I have the exact placement that I want. Because a couple of stitches is easy. Actually, you can just weave. Maybe? No, no. Okay, I won't let you weave. Sometimes weaving is really nice when you're not picking up the project a ton. You're not playing with the placement as much. All right, let me put in one more stitch. Don't go through the gaps of the corner to corner. You just don't want to do that. All right. Let's just start. Yep. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to just keep doing that. I'm having trouble finding the stitch on that one, so what I'm going to do is come up, and then I'm going to just go through the stitch and tap. So this is what you're going to do, but make sure, again, you got your placement where you want it. And don't go through the black of the eye. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now I'm going to drop that. And pick up the red. Thinking I cut a long piece and I didn't. By staying in those stitches, you really can't see your stitches. So I want you to do this one and the other eye, and I'll meet you back. Okay, there's your eyes. So now, time to put his nose on. All right. So you just want to go through where you want his nose. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to just stitch it on tight, grabbing the bottom and just going around. Since this is corner to corner, it's hard to do it any other way. But while you're doing this, please take your time. Make sure you go all the way around and make sure you get the placement of where you want it. I like it. And then just tighten it tight. And then lose your yarn. And then what you can do is you can come up through the nose. You can actually lose your yarn that way too. See how that flattens his nose a little bit? I kind of like it. All right. Notice I'm trying to get rid of tails as we go, because tails can honestly get you in trouble if you have too many floating around. They can get caught up in your other stuff. Now, I definitely want it this thick. I was kind of initially thinking I wanted to separate the black, but I don't. You can if you want to. Now his eyebrows. And then Try that. The nice thing about this, you can try something, you don't like it, you can pull it out. Perfect. And then the other one, look at that. Makes a whole difference, don't it? Big difference. I love it. Angry already. The heat man is mad. So this is easy. So I'm going to tie this. And then cut this even. And then lose this. When I say lose it, it's weaving it in. You don't have to do the face, obviously, the way I'm doing it. You can do your face any way you want. And if you do a different face, or even if you do the same face, I want to see your projects. Okay. I think I can, while I'm weaving in, might as well get rid of this tail. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I might want to do something with that. So look at how angry he looks. So now, hold on my dog. There we go. I'm going to sew this on any way you want. Neither of those tails look long enough. So I'm going to sew this on. Sew it on to make it look sassy. And then what I'm going to do is outline this in black and put some lines down for his teeth. See, I'm pushing it down a little bit so it bulges out a little bit. And then I'm going to move all my tails to the back. Now, I'm going to outline this in black. I'm going to do a curve from the center of his nose and going down and around, just edging the corners of his mouth. I'm going to edge his mouth and put teeth in. And then that will be him. I'll show it to you when we get back. All right, so here is the heat side, his nose, eyes. Make sure you did your eyes stitching in red because you don't want the white to show. And his framing. Remember, these characters long ago were in claymation, so they're not meant to look like perfect. It was claymation. So here's the heat. And then, look at this. Here's the freeze, or snow. Eyes were outlined in black because they had to put indents to put the claymation in for the eyes. So that's the eyes. His nose. Now, understand, I tried really hard to do a different color to make his nose more noticeable. I tried off-white. I tried blue. I tried... It didn't look right. Just didn't look right. But you do you. And then his mouth, because it flopped open. So here's his mouth, and here's the piece that makes it flop open. But it's so cool. So cool. His hair is like icebergs. His hair is like fire. So much fun, guys. So much fun. But here it is. Take a minute to look. That way, if you want to freeze this to get an idea on how to do your stitch work for the faces. Absolutely love it. Well, until next time, I'm Ronnie. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you these beautiful crochet tutorials and so much more. It would be such a big help if you hit that subscribe button to help us keep bringing you tutorials. And come join us. And don't forget the little notch under his nose. And please don't forget to come join us on Facebook. And we're also on TikTok. We would love the follows. It helps us to be able to bring you more. It just keeps everything rolling. Until next time, I'm Ronnie, Maggie and Lauren with Whip and Chain. Happy crocheting, everybody, and I can't wait to see yours. I'm excited.